The tow truck's engine growled just as Pop stepped onto the porch in his worn slippers, clutching a mug of black coffee. He froze mid-sip. There in broad daylight, his 1959 Chevy C10 was halfway down the street, chained up and scraping the pavement. He didn't shout. He didn't spill his coffee. He just turned, walked inside, and muttered one word into the phone. Sheriff. Everyone in the county knew about Amos Rock Sullivan, retired Marine, former deputy sheriff, and the kind of man who could patch a radiator with duct tape and sheer willpower. His truck wasn't just a vehicle, it was his heart on wheels. After his wife passed, he'd spent 2 years restoring it, bolt by bolt, each turn of the wrench a step through grief. He polished it every Sunday with a rag from his service days and parked it in his driveway like it belonged to the house itself. No one had ever dared touch it until now. The neighborhood had been quiet for years until Linda Mayfield took over as HOA president. Newly retired, buzzing with energy and armed with a binder of rules, she'd become a suburban dictator. Her latest crusade? Preserving the community's charm. Apparently, Pop's classic Chevy didn't fit her VY shown. We all knew she had it out for him. She'd once fined him for a too bright porch light and claimed his flagpole was intimidating. But this was a declaration of war. No warning, no notice, just her brother's tow company hooking up the truck while Pops buttered his toast. It felt like a piece of the family had been stolen. When I pulled into the driveway minutes later, Pops was on the porch, staring down the street like a general studying a battlefield. I asked if he was okay. He gave me that lopsided grin, the one that came before a prank or a fireworks show. Trouble was brewing. I made a call, he said. This ain't over. It wasn't. Within an hour, Sheriff Tucker rolled up, sipping iced tea like he was at a picnic. He and Pops went way back, brothers in arms from their deputy days. When Tucker heard about the tow, he chuckled, not because it was funny but because he knew what was coming. She can't legally do that without proper HOA approval and paperwork, right? He asked. Pops nodded. Thought so, Tucker replied, already dialing. Let's make some calls. Turns out, Linda's brother's tow company, Prime Hall, was unlicensed for residential tows and had a rap sheet of complaints for shady practices. Worse, Pop's truck had a fresh dent in the bump-era bumper he'd crafted himself with his late friend Charlie. We headed to the impound lot that afternoon. Pops was quiet, but his eyes burned. The lot was a fortress, guarded by a guy who looked like he chewed nails for fun. But when he saw Tucker's badge and Pop's stare, the gate swung open. The truck sat crooked, axle misaligned, paint scratched from chains. Pop circled it, tracing a gouge on the hood, then wiped his hand on his jeans. He didn't yell. He just looked at the guard and said, "Get your boss." Tucker snapped photos, noting the damage, and told the manager the tow was illegal, no authorization, no notice, and a classic vehicle drag without care. "Call your lawyer," he said, shutting his notebook. We got the truck released that evening, but Pops didn't drive it home. He had it loaded onto a flatbed properly this time and taken to a friend's garage. "Let's fix her up first," he said. "Then we bring her back with a bang." That night he stayed up late in his shed, Johnny Cash on the radio, flipping through papers, making lists, calling old friend sheriff's office folks, the county clerk, even a news anchor he'd helped out of a ditch years back. This wasn't just about the truck. It was about principle. Linda, meanwhile, strutted around like she'd won a prize. She waved smugly at neighbors, muttering about standards and snapping photos of violations she planned to target next. She had no clue what was coming. By morning, Pops had drafted a legal notice to the HOA, citing their bylaws, county codes, and old meeting records showing Linda never had board approval for her stunts. She'd acted alone illegally. He handed me a copy and said, "Tomorrow we serve her and the board." I asked, "What's the plan?" He leaned back. "First we fix the truck. Then we roll in like it's a parade. After that," he stretched, "we clean house." I couldn't sleep that night, not from nerves but excitement. Pops wasn't just fighting for his truck, he was fighting for everyone who'd been bullied by petty power. The HOA had messed with the wrong man, and he was about to roar. The next morning, the neighborhood felt different. Word spread fast. Pop's truck was towed without notice, the sheriff was involved, and Linda, queen of HOA chaos, was in trouble. But instead of backing off, she doubled down. Before dawn, she slapped notices on mailboxes, claiming the HOA had passed an emergency rule, banning non-modern, non-electric vehicles from driveways. It was a Lieno vote, no input, no legal ground. She even posted in the community group about a beautification blitz, complete with buzzwords and fake photos of sleek cars. It was like she wanted to erase the neighborhood soul and replace it with a sterile ad. Pops didn't flinch. While Linda played tyrant, he was at Ray's Auto Haven, a shop run by Ray, a grizzled mechanic who could rebuild a carburetor blindfolded. When Pops rolled the truck in, Ray saw the damage, whistled and said, "They'll regret this." They worked together, fixing every dent, tightening every bolt, repainting every scratch. It wasn't just repairs, it was defiance. By day's end, the truck gleamed brighter than ever. Ray even added a hidden dash cam. Just in case. Pops kept making calls. Old law buddies, a zoning officer, the DM building a case tighter than a drum. Back home, Mrs. Carter, a kind neighbor, showed me a notice Linda left, fining her for unapproved lawn decor, her late husband's ceramic turtles. She was near tears. I promised her Linda's days were numbered. More neighbors spoke up. The Wilsons got a citation for their RV, a single mom was warned about her kid's soccer goal. Linda had lost it. Pops dug through old files, bylaws, deeds, HOA minutes and found gold. Linda was never elected president. The last president quit and she'd seized power citing a fake rule. Her board. Half didn't exist. The rest had quit or moved. Legally, she was a fraud. Pops verified it at the county clerk's office. Linda had no authority not to tow, fine, or rule. Then we learned Prime Hall was owned by Linda's brother, Tony, a guy with a trail of complaints. One review IEW said he towed a car with a cat inside. Pops handed everything to Tucker, who said, "This is getting ugly." He escalated the case, assigning a deputy to dig deeper. Linda's fake rule? Violation. Her brother's payments? Conflict of interest. Her fines? Fraud. What started with a truck was now a full-blown investigation. Pops met with Clara Holt, a lawyer friend who knew HOA law cold. When she saw the EVY Denke, she laughed. This is a slam dunk. She drafted a petition to oust Linda's board and form a temporary committee. Pops asked if neighbors could vote for it. Clara grinned. They'll eat it up. Linda kept parading around, oblivious that the sheriff was pulling her records. Pops told me his next move, we're bringing the truck back with the sheriff's convoy. I gaped. Serious? He grinned. Dead serious. Deputies, Ray, the classic car club, maybe news crews. Legal and loud. The sun was barely up when a rumble shook the neighborhood. It wasn't thunder, it was Pop's Chevy, polished to a mirror shine, leading a convoy of vintage cars, patrol cruisers, and a news van down Oak Street. Pops drove while viewing calmly like he was running errands. Ray followed in a '67 Pontiac, flanked by deputies with lights flashing, sirens off. It was a statement. Linda stood in her driveway, robe flapping, phone in hand, eyes bouncing between the convoy and Tucker, who tipped his hat. She opened her mouth, but Pops rolled past, parking his truck exactly where it belonged. Neighbors cheered like it was a holiday. The news crew filmed Pops stepping out, patting the hood, explaining he was just taking back what was his. Tucker confirmed the tow was illegal, with investigations pending. Linda tried yelling about bylaws, but the reporter shut her down, noting she shouldn't talk without a lawyer. She stormed inside, red-faced. That afternoon, Linda called an emergency HOA meeting to save face. She didn't expect Pops to show up with bylaws, Clara, and a petition signed by 70 fan tram of residents to remove her. She didn't expect Tucker or city officials watching. The meeting was chaos. Linda banged a cheap gavel, but Tucker cut in, announcing her leadership was under review for illegal actions. Gasps filled the room. Linda ranted about conspiracies, but Pop stood, calm as stone, and laid out EVY Denke, bylaws she broke, fake votes, proof she was never elected. Then he dropped the petition. I didn't want this, he said. I just wanted my truck and my peace. But when someone takes that from all of us, it's a fight worth winning. Silence hit hard. A city official ended it. This board suspended. All actions frozen. MS. Mayfield, get a lawyer. Linda slumped, her gavel hitting the floor. Outside, neighbors cheered. That night, the neighborhood felt alive. Pops grilled ribs, Ray and Tucker swapped stories, kids biked freely. Mrs. Carter sat at her turtles with a sign, approved by Pops. Linda's blinds stayed shut. A for sale sign appeared in her yard by morning. Pops push for a new election, new less no secret fines, open meetings, community cookouts. Clara helped write it. Residents voted yes. They asked Pops to lead, but he waved it off. I've got my truck, he said. Let the young folks drive. The sheriff left late, laughing. Cleanest takedown since we busted that moonshine ring in '86. Pops raised his soda. This one had better ribs. The truck sat proud, a new decal reading still here. The neighborhood wasn't just peaceful, it was free. Pops had given it a voice, and no one would silence it again.